welcome to our special presentation, Hawaii Remembers Senator Daniel K. Inouye. The senator was born on September 7th, 1924, and that was 89 years ago. So today would have been his 89th birthday. Now, the senator passed away on December 17th of last year, and we are so honored to be here. Joining me now is the Mistress of Ceremonies, Misty Ke'La'i. Misty, you know what's great about these kind of events?
What?
Things just happen, and right now, Bernard Carvalho of Kauai, the mayor, he's singing on stage.
Absolutely, and he says, Senator Inouye love Kauai, so he's singing Pua'olena for his island today.
Fantastic. A very wonderful impromptu performance. We're going to be hearing so many stories of Senator Inouye, and one of them was told by his son Ken, and he said that, you know, he had such a special relationship with his granddaughter Maggie. So I'm just so excited about hearing all these little tidbits about the senator, right?
Yeah, stand by. We're going to have some beautiful Mo'olelo stories today from so many people here that love the senator, as we all do.
And we're going to be seeing a special tree planting ceremony, so people come to the grounds of the municipal grounds that they'll be able to see that and remember the senator, right?
Yes, we're planting a very special kukui nut tree, not only because it's our state tree, it's because in ancient time, kukui no'a, turn on the light.
Fantastic.
And he certainly did.
Well, Misty, I think it's time to get the program started.
Okay, Mahia, let's hit it. Mahalo.
And there Misty goes, and we are so excited to see today's event. So let's listen in.
Of your beauty, Pua'olena, Pua'olena.
Mahalo, Mayor Bernard Carvalho, County of Kauai. Aloha mai kako, aloha. Let's please rise for the playing of National Anthem and Hawaii Pono'i. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh, Yamapo Kahoi Luna, oh, I hold an idea, take a book of oh, Yanoi.
Hawaii Pono'i Nanai Komo'i Kalani Ali'i Keali'i Makualani E pule kākou, e kou mākou maku e loko kalani, e ho'a no ia kou inoa,
E hiki mai ko aupuni, e mālama ia kou make makahonua nei. E like mea ia I mālama ia makalani la. Amene, amene, amene. Noho I lalo, please be seated. Senator Daniel K. Inouye was born in Honolulu, our beautiful city of Honolulu, on September 7th, 1924. He would have been 89 years old today. How cool is that? We gather here today to celebrate his life. But what more can be said about him that has already been said? What more can we learn about him that we already know? His life, his accomplishments, and what he did for Hawaii are all very well documented. But unless we continue to tell stories, you know us local people, we love to talk story, right? So we gather today to talk story about Senator's life. Written or not, they will be forgotten by generations if we don't do this. Unless rekindled, even the brightest flame will fade. Thus today, we gather to hear stories about those who considered Senator Inouye a husband, a friend, a colleague, a mentor, your buddy at Zippy's. This is why we're here today. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to the mayor of the city and county of Honolulu, Kirk Caldwell.
Good afternoon and aloha. Doesn't it feel good? It does, doesn't it? It was a little bit Kanikapila. We had Mayor Bernard up there singing with Ho'okena. I hear Ho'okena and I think of Ho'okena. Right, Billy? It's a good place, peaceful, special. And I know the senator would love to see Kanikapila with all of his friends, family, supporters, colleagues, buddies at Zippy's. You know what I thought when I got here? I saw Irene walking in all 3 TV stations and Star Advertiser. They want to talk to her. And I thought, you know, Dan right now, he's proud. He's smiling because he knows his life goes on, his legacy goes on, and he loved his wife so much, and she's still there carrying forward. So I think it's a very special day. And for me, I had mixed emotions. You know, I get really sad when I think of the senator passing. I knew he was getting older. I never thought he would die. He'd just get older. To me, and I'm sure many of us here, he was like our son. Gravitational pull, you felt it everywhere you went. And he was there forever, since before statehood. Most of our collective memory. And so we never really thought he wouldn't be here. And then I thought, well, wow, what if he was never born? What would that mean to all of us? Well, in a very personal way for me, if he wasn't born, I wouldn't be married to my wife, Donna. We wouldn't have our daughter, Maya, in a very immediate way. But in so many other ways, he's had an impact on all of our lives. I think about, you know, as a young man, him signing up to fight along with other Japanese Americans, and how they changed the entire country through their action. And today we have some of the men from the 442nd 100th Battalion here. If you'd please stand up so we can recognize you, please. Right over here. They changed this place forever, and the senator was just one of the band of brothers fighting. But he came back, and with others from the 442nd, the 100th, and just other people who love this place, they changed it forever through the Revolution of '54. And after that revolution, this place stopped looking like it had since territory days, and it started looking more like it looks today, giving tremendous opportunity to everyone, no matter what their race, no matter what their religion, no matter what their gender. And that is an incredible thing when you think about it in the 50th state. And then the senator went off to Washington, D.C., the first Asian American the Congress, the first to the Senate. And what did he do? He ran to America's first people because he wanted to help them too, to give them power because they had none. And then what did he do? He ran to governments like Israel and wanted to give them more power because of the future they faced without the support of those in Congress. He basically looked for people who needed help, just like those he loved so dearly in Hawaii, and then he used his power that he had and gave it to others. And he changed our country, and I think he changed other parts of the world. So I'm glad we're here today. And I'm really glad and I'm really honored in particular that all four mayors are here from each island. Mayor Billy Kenoi, Mayor Bernard Carvalho, and Mayor Alan Arakawa. I look at this event today as kind of a grassroots, ground up, let's celebrate the senator's life. Not a top down, not a directive from somewhere else, but from the people of each county saying the senator made a difference in our lives, in our county's lives, in our personal lives, in the lives of the state and the federal government. So with that, I just want to say mahalo to everyone who came. Thank you, mahalo, and aloha.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I call to the podium from Hawaii Island, Mayor Billy Kenoi.
Aloha mai kako, nā kupuna, nā ali'i, nā makua, nā ohana, to all of us gathered here today on our beloved Senator Daniel K. Inouye. Earlier we got to, with Irene, Miss Irene Hirano Inouye, Senator's beloved wife, we got to open the Daniel K. Inouye Highway on Hawaii Island, or the Saddle Road. $250 million. And it was the third blessing since I had the privilege and honor of serving Hawaii Island as a mayor. And I remember the senator shared that today, how he would, at the first blessing, and new mayor, all excited, wow, get full blessed with the senator, feeling cool. And he tells me this road was planned before Billy was born. But we're going to finish it while he's still mayor. I want to say mahalo, Kirk. Thank you so much, Mayor Kirk Caldwell, for having the vision of celebrating the senator, a man we call our friend, we all looked up to, we all admired, we all appreciate. Thank you for putting this together. For those of you in the city and county of Honolulu, you look at Mayor Kirk Caldwell, and they tell me, hey, he's from the Big Island. I was like, not. So, quick story. So we had Miloli'i. I heard, hey, Kirk Caldwell stayed Miloli'i, so I gotta go check out the brother. He stayed Miloli'i. So I thinking maybe he's from Honolulu. He's not from the Big Island. Had on cliff, you guys. Had no way to get up on a cliff. And I went, I figured test him out. Kirk, jump. Kirk went jump. I was all proud of him. I had to jump too after that. We didn't eat opihi off the rocks, everything. After that, I said, Brother Kirk, anything you need, I get you back. But thanks, Kirk, for doing this. I know we all had the privilege of working with Senator Inouye. I want to thank my colleagues as well, Mayor Alan Arakawa and Mayor Bernard Carvalho. All of us have benefited tremendously from the Senator's influence, from his willingness to represent us and advocate for us in Washington, D.C. He reminded us always of simple values, that we all need to work together, that the better we work together, the better we can serve our island community, that it's not about taking credit and giving blame. As leaders, it is our responsibility to shoulder the blame, but to give the credit to all those who help make our community a better place to live. I had the privilege of working 20 years ago in Washington, D.C. With Senator Inouye, and Nestor Garcia was the press secretary at that time. I was an intern, but the title never sounded good, so I asked the senator if he could make me one deputy press secretary. It's more cool, when you walk around. You tell you an intern, they don't let you in the room. You tell them you're the deputy press secretary, right this way. But, for 20 years, I could still pick up the phone. I was always, mindful of the senator, but he was always mindful of us. He always made us feel comfortable. He always asked us what we needed, and he never hesitated to help. I know the people on Hawaii Island. I stand here representing all of them when I say thank you so much, Senator. Thank you for everything you've done. I got reelected just because all the stuff that was happening, people think was me, but was actually Senator Inouye. But I got elected already, so it's all good. But, without the Senator's love, I wouldn't have been here again. But love you, Senator. Love you, Irene. Love you, Jen. Mahalo nui loa for the opportunity to be here on this special day. Aloha.
You may all know it. No stars above, no one to love. I'm lost in the cold jungle rain.
You know what? I am the luckiest lady right now because I am surrounded by two mayors, two very handsome
All
mayors,
right.
Mayor
Hey,
Kirk
Billy.
Caldwell and Mayor Billy Kinoy of Hawaii Island and of Honolulu. Great to see you guys. Let me start with Honolulu Mayor first.
Yeah.
What a wonderful speech. And you talked about how you met your wife, Donna,
right.
in Senator Inouye's office when you're
right.
working together. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit?
So I was working as a legislative assistant. Donna showed up to go to Georgetown Law School, and she came in to do an internship. And I went, oh, she was really pretty, local girl. So I made the moves, but she had a boyfriend who was playing for UH baseball. But they broke up, and when that happened, I came in. So no, it was really
Can
nice.
we call Senator, everyone knows him as a war hero,
Yes.
as an icon in politics, but we can call him matchmaker now?
Yeah, you can call him matchmaker. In fact, I always told Senator, the greatest gift you ever gave me, anyone gave me, is my wife.
Oh.
And all of us, when we get married, it changes how we go in the future, and it's been a great journey. And starting with the senator, that journey was fantastic.
Fantastic. And Mayor Kinoy, you also worked for the center. Now, you said you started as an intern, and so what was it like when you first met him? Did you have to feel like you spoke properly and stood up straight? Can you explain that?
It was very intimidating.
Yeah.
We all grew up with the senator as our senator, and it was very intimidating. But he was always so nice. As an intern, he took me to the Democratic National Convention in New York City, an opportunity no one would have been afforded. If you were that low in the totem pole. And yet the senator always looking out for us, always encouraging us, and always making us feel like we had a role to play. We had a responsibility to serve. And there's generations of us here in Hawaii, like Kirk, like myself, like many, many others who are here today, who are serving the community because of the senator's influence and mentoring.
And when the senator got into politics, he was seen as someone who truly believed in public service, especially in a time right now in Washington where there's so much going on. And so does he make you truly believe that, this is a time, right?
Absolutely. He inspired all of us. We all recognize how privileged we are to serve.
Fantastic. And I think you guys got to get back to the
from
program.
The senator, it's a profession. Public service is a profession. It's not just a job.
And I think you guys got to get back to the program, so we'll see you in a little bit.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to hear from the Maui County, Mayor Alan Arakawa.
It's really a privilege to be here today, and I do want to thank Mayor Caldwell for inviting us. Word cannot express just how great a man Dan Inouye was as a senator. When you look at all of the great things that have happened in the state of Hawaii, you look at the East-West Center, you look at the observatory on the Big Island, the observatories on Maui, the supercomputer that we have on Maui, Barking Sands on Kauai, and you think of all of the major earth-moving types of ideas that have come to Hawaii. Almost all of them can be credited in some way or other to Senator Inouye and his efforts. I know that over the years, I've had the opportunity to be able to discuss things with the senator, and I've just cherished those moments. When he used to talk about things, it was never about whose fault it may have been or what was wrong. It was always about what kind of a future can we build and how can we prepare our communities for those futures that we have to be able to build toward. And Jennifer spent many, many years and much of the time coming back and forth, corresponding with us to make sure that the projects would be followed through and that whatever commitments were made, there was a follow-up. So he didn't only talk about what could be there. He put together all of the key ingredients to make sure that the programs could be carried out. At the national level, he put the money in, the funding in. And I don't know of any other person who would been able to manipulate so much funding to a community so far away from the continental United States, so disproportionate to the size of the state. But he spent so much time thinking about the people here and what our needs are, what we would be able to do, not today, not tomorrow, but 50 and 100 years from now. What would we need to prepare this community for a better lifestyle? And Senator Inouye would always talk about the things that he was working on and why it was necessary. I mean, why do we need a road going around the Big Island that nobody was there yet? Well, because he was able to foresee, probably 40 years before everybody else was, that that road was going to allow the community to grow. Why was he thinking about computers and space and the sciences that were going to be evolving when all of us were wondering, what was a surf like? And we were still on the old fashioned telephones when he was already looking at things that were going to happen in the Buck Rogers times. And it seems kind of crazy, but the gentleman truly had amazing foresight. And he was able to not only see into the future, not only plan into the future, but create for all of us a quality of life that's going to last for generations. All that he did and all that he was able to achieve, he was still one of the most humble person that you could meet. He always took the time out to be able to say hi. He took the time out to visit friends. He remembered your face, and he remembered the things that you worked with him on. He was the kind of person that you truly had to admire. And to Irene, you were able to accompany him to a lot of the events on Maui. And those experiences are just priceless. So for those of us that had the opportunity to work with Senator on a one-to-one basis, to be able to have his intelligence given to us, let's make the best of that intelligence. Let's make sure that we use every opportunity that we can to plan for Hawaii's future, to plan for our community in a positive way. Let's use his example, because this was a gentleman that went through all kinds of adversity. He went through war, he lost an arm, he went through all the physical pain that goes with it, the trauma of having to be able to readjust entire lifestyles. And yet he never forgot that the community that he was building for us was key and most paramount, and that each and every one of us was an individual that needed to be respected, needed to be remembered, and not forgotten. So if we can remember to be as humble as he was, if we can remember to have foresight and forget the ills, but remember the goals And if we can think forward and plan, then perhaps we will have given Senator Inouye the kind of, I guess, the kind of memory that he would have loved to be remembered for. Because I think at the end of the day, you know, he was working till the very bitter end for this community. And we could have no better senator than he was. So thank you for the opportunity. I really, really do think that this community is going to miss this gentleman because he was just irreplaceable. And in the course of history, Hawaii will be able to know Senator Inouye was the most thoughtful person that we could possibly have represent us. So thank you.
Mahalo, Mayor Arakawa from the beautiful Valley Isle of Maui. Another round of applause. Mahalo, Mayor. Mayor Carvalho. Hawi ko. Manao me ke aloha. Hui. E como mai. Share your thoughts of love. Mahalo. Mayor Carvalho.
Aloha again. So wonderful to be here. A lot of the comments that were made and stories and sharing of our dear Senator Irene, Jennifer, and the foundation, the solid base that really helped all of us. I became mayor in like 2008, and after the passing of our dear Mayor Baptiste, and so I got to know, I knew Senator Inouye from afar. He was the icon, the man who really did a lot of things in his life and a lot of things for people. And so when I got to know him more as mayor and got to talk story with him, I was hoping that we could talk more, but the things that I got a chance to speak with him about and some of his our discussions on his advice and how to really be proud of leading people, especially in Hawaii, specifically Kauai and Ni'ihau, who was he was very special to him, the two islands. And his dad, his grandparents were actually born in Wahiawa Camp, came to Wahiawa Camp, the west side of our island. And his dad actually was born. And so he talked about that and how special that side of the island was. We go down to the north shore of Kauai. The reason why it's so beautiful and preserved is because of him, the Hanalei Bridge. He was the one who preserved that bridge to keep it a one-lane bridge. So you stop, you wait for the 5 cars, and then you go again, you wait. You know, you drive with aloha, okay? And so that, along with the lighthouse, a beautiful lighthouse, that beacon of light that shines, you know, shone so brightly before. And that was a very special place, which is now recognized in honor of him. As we move on to our island, of course, over the salt beds in Hanapepe, that precious Hawaiian salt, and he was so advocate to making sure that we preserve and continue to look at that and make sure that the resources are there to preserve. Of course, PMRF, we talked about that already. So there's a lot of things that he's done and preserved his heart. But I wanted to talk a little bit about just the man that I know. I got to know a little bit. And, you know, I kind of big, yeah? No, I should not say big. I choose to be called husky, okay? So I'm not overweight, okay, I'm not big. But for him, he wasn't too small, he wasn't too big, he was just right, okay? and just the way he talked to us and his message and how he always said, because he said, you know, a lot of controversial issues. I mean, you come here, you're mayor 24/7, okay? You go in Safeway, buy eggs and soda, and not soda, change, water, and bread, and you stay there for 2 hours. And everybody has some kind of concern. And that's okay. That's part of what we do. We touch people, we help people, we listen with understanding, hear with love and aloha, respond with compassion. Compassion is not a sign of weakness. Compassion is a sign of strength. When you talk to people and you ho'omale male and you kind of work it through. And he told me this, that you will come across controversial issues all the time, and make sure that you hear all sides, hear everybody out, give it a chance to move into a place where we can understand all sides from all parts of our community. Our visitors come, our aunties and our kupuna, of course, first, but listen to all sides. And when you make that decision, you stick to that decision. You don't move, because you already did a thorough overview. You listened, you kind of sorted through, you kind of think about all the stuff. You kind of sort them to your pu'uwai, your heart, and then you're now going to tell you, this is the right thing to do. Do it, because it's the right thing to do. So that's the kinds of small talk that I had with him. And also just overall, all the different projects like we talked about with Mayor Bailey and Mayor Allen. Thank you, Mayor Kirk, again, for his vision of putting this together. I had a chance to sing a song, and the other special thing about he loved music, and I actually got to see him play the piano at his home down at Ina Road. We got there one night. He invited all of us just to talk story, right? And he played the piano. It was cool. And he loved music. So I did that one, but I'm going to do a little snippet of this one because it's kind of really special, because I sang with him at a Veterans Center on Kauai. He came up to the stage. I got the picture for proof. Anybody check that out? I get him, okay. He was standing right next to me, and we sang his favorite song. So Irene, thank you for the relationship and keeping it moving. And Jennifer, you're rock and roll girl. Sorry, I'm not broken any protocols or nothing, but this is just how we are. We got to stay real. We got to make sure we remember where we come from, who we are, move forward, understand the challenges that we're going to face, never give up, be diligent, be committed, be all of that. And that's what he was. He did it in his own way. He said, you notice no buildings are named after me. Now all the buildings are being, because he knew. He knew. We're always going to charge. We're always going to get one more on Kauai coming up. I'm not going to share that yet. So, we all have that chance. And he knew in his heart. He was a man, like I said, not too small, not too big, just right. But he had the biggest pu'uwai in this whole wide world. What else can I say? What else can we say? His vessels were just moving all over the place because there's so much mana coming through. Anyway, so I'm going to end with this small snippet, just one, because I remember that. It's his favorite song. You guys ready? Iwaho mako ikapone I aike I kanani kai mana hila kai mana hila kai mailuna. We love you, Senator Inouye. Love you, Irene. Love you, Jennifer. Aloha. Iwaho mako ikapone aike I kanani kai mana hila kai mana hila kai mailuna.
We were all out last night. And we saw the beauty of Diamond Head. Ooh, Diamond Head. Set high above. Yeehaw. We were all out in Waikiki. We saw the beauty men board surfing. Board surfing gently and gliding. Yeehaw! We all went out to Kapi'olani Park. And we saw the beauty of the racetrack. Ooh, that racetrack.
It sure tires the body. This is the end of my mele, my story. He can see and feel the beauty of Diamond Head. Beautiful Diamond Head. Set high above it all.
One more hanahoho, yes. Nani and Mayor Carvalho.
Mahalo ho'okena nani Mayor Carvalho. And now we like to call upon Jennifer Goto Sabas to offer some words. Jennifer first started working for Senator Inouye. I'm reading my notes, 25 years ago. Wow, T, that's a long time. Starting as a legislative assistant, she eventually rose to become his chief of staff. Ooh, wow. And continues today Senator Inouye's legacy as the director of the Daniel K. Inouye Legacy Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Goto Sabas.
Aloha. Wow. You know he's watching right now. And I can't do the voice thing, but I think he would be saying, what is all the commotion? He was never a big birthday guy. So as Misty shared with you, I did have the honor of working him for 25 years. And during that time, the standard operating procedure was one red rose in a bud vase on his desk, except when he was in Hawaii. Because when he was in Hawaii, it also included a little dish with one pork hash, one pipiao, and one half moon, but only from Chahanzat. But that was it. No celebration, no big lunch. He was not one big into birthdays. So I think in some ways it is a little ironic that we'd wait for his pass so we could have a public birthday for Danny Inouye. So let me start by thanking all of you here for your presence and more importantly for your friendship and for your support for all these many, many years. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Danny Inouye could not have accomplished all that he did for us and this nation had it not been for the strong, strong support base he had at home. So I thank you very, very much for your warm gifts of aloha and kindness to Irene and the family. But he also left us with some very precious gifts, some wisdom, some values, and some very simple lessons on leadership. So anybody that worked for him, he instilled in us that public service was a very noble profession, and that the work we did every day made a difference to everyday people, and that is priceless. And then to the broader community, for so many of you here that had an opportunity to serve with him or work with him, he instilled in all of us this unwavering sense of optimism, and then doused us with an overwhelming, sometimes, amount of self-confidence that we could do anything. And I still remember Vice President Biden saying exactly that Danny would instill in him and push him to do things that he himself did not think he could do. And for so many of you in this audience, in this tent, you know exactly what I'm talking about that. He did that with so many of us. He pushed us and gave us the confidence that we could do anything. We could compete with anybody who was smart enough and tough enough to do anything, here on the mainland and abroad. He gave us those skills to allow his legacy to carry forward. And that, my friends, is also priceless. And so in his later years, he was very fond of saying, that America was a great country and that there was no other country in this world where the poor immigrant grandson whose grandparents came to Kauai to work in the plantation and who was then deemed an enemy alien during World War II solely because of the color of his skin, and who would then go on to receive our nation's highest award for military valor, the Medal of Honor, and would further go on to become the President pro tem of the United States Senate and third in succession to the presidency. Only in this country, he would say, provided that you are willing to work hard, dream big, and do good. So let's do good, Hawaii. Happy birthday, boss. We love you. Aloha.
And now the last of our speakers, the senator's wife, Mrs. Irene Hirano Inouye. Aloha mai.
Aloha. Let me thank Kirk and Donna for this wonderful gathering. And you were two people that he loved very much. And he was so proud when Kirk was elected mayor. So I know he would be very proud to have so many of you here this afternoon. And to the mayors, each of you who he loved and who he would sometimes scold and sometimes tease, but always he would encourage you to do the impossible. And I know that he has a long list of things that he left for you to do, so your legacy is to make sure that they get done. Dan never made a big deal about birthdays, and he used to say, because I would always ask him, so what should we do on your birthday? And he would say that when he was growing up, that birthdays were not a very big deal, I think, and he would say in part because they didn't have a lot, and so they never made a big deal about his birthday. But for someone who didn't make a big deal about his birthday, he was always proud of his age. So you would always know how old he would. When he made a speech, he would always talk about his age. And I think part of that was because he really appreciated the fact that he survived the war. And I'm really pleased that some of his comrades are here from the 442. And I think that he really appreciated every birthday, not so much because it was his birthday, but because he knew that another year he was given, that there were those who didn't make it through the war, and that he was really fortunate to be able to. So for him, age was something that he was very proud of, unlike some of us who don't like to talk about our age. He really believed he was going to live to be 100, as you know, or more. And he kept saying, don't worry, I'm going to be around, I'm going to be around. And of course, that didn't happen. But he left behind so many wonderful friends, so many wonderful treasures within the state. He loved going to openings. And I think it wasn't because certainly he was able to bring money, but because he saw that as another milestone, another achievement that happened because so many people worked together. And as Billy said this morning at the Saddle Road renaming and the dedication, he would have been really proud because he knew that that reflected a coming together of people in the community, working with the military and the federal, state, county, that he saw in that project and in so many other projects, the fact that if people work together, that they could get the job done. And that's why he loved every time that he could go to an opening. But as soon as we get in the car, when we were done with the opening, he would say, Jennifer, okay, this is what you need to do next. And sure enough, she'd take out her pen and she'd start writing, because he was always looking ahead. And I do hope that that's one of the things of his legacy that each of us will embrace, that he was always looking ahead at how to make Hawaii a better place. He loved each island. He wanted each island to be strong on its own. He would say that every time that he would go and meet with the mayors. But he knew just like a tapestry, that you had to have each piece strong, but when you stood back, that it was really beautiful, and that you needed the pieces to make the whole. So I hope that as we celebrate with wonderful music, with great food, his favorite Zippies, and with really good friends. That as we reflect on his birthday, that the good times, the good fun that we had, but most importantly, the ability to achieve the impossible will always be something that we will strive for. So thank you so much for making this a very special day. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Mrs. Inouye, for sharing your words of love and respect for your husband. As you can see, after our dear one's uhala, we all have memories. And that's really all we have. So when we decided to say, "Aole poina ole ia oe," you are never forgotten. We truly mean that. He will never be forgotten. Once again, here is Ho'okena to perform another brief mele in Senator's honor before we move to the next and final portion of our celebration. Ho'okena.
We are joined now by Mrs. Inouye and Jennifer Sabas. What lovely speeches, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It's a wonderful day.
Mrs. Inouye, how wonderful does it feel to celebrate and really spread the aloha spirit about Senator Inouye?
I think it is wonderful. It's a special time when friends can come together. There are so many people here who Dan worked with, and the fact that we can share stories makes it a very special day.
Now, we've heard how low-key he was about his birthday. How did the two of you celebrate his birthday, or was it just kind of a happy birthday?
We would usually go to dinner. He enjoyed being able to do that, but I think it was like another day for him. What it was, though, as I said, is that it marked another year, and he was proud of his age. So he was looking forward to being able to accomplish more in the next year to come.
I think we should all learn from that. Be proud of our age, right? Right, Jennifer? So you worked for Senator Inouye for 25 years. You were just a kid when you met him. What was it like when you first met him?
I just graduated from law school, so I was in Washington. And it was an amazing experience being young and so many, opportunities. When he hired me, he told me that lawyers are a dime a dozen. But give me a lawyer that's loyal and that has Hawaii in their heart, and then you may be worth something. Could you be that lawyer? And I never, ever forgot that.
Well, I know he liked low-key celebrations, but this is a really big event. So happy birthday, Senator Dan, and thank you, ladies, for joining us today.
That older voices call and drowns your laughter, but I believe you knew what you would have to be, a beacon in the storm to guide us after.
It's a privilege for us to be here today to celebrate his life. And, this is something that we have to perpetuate. People have to remember that you have to build a future. And if you put your entire career into building futures, you actually accomplish something. And Senator Inouye is a prime example of that. You can really accomplish a lot of goals that most people think are impossible. No one would have thought it possible to create an East-West Center. No one would have thought it possible to create one of the best technology parks in the United States and in the world on an island like Maui. But yet, Senator Inouye had that kind of thought pattern. He was able to foresee what it was that the community needed to evolve into. And he was able to put the energy into it to make sure that we're thinking of the future.
Absolutely. Definitely thinking about the future. He's going to be touching many generations that are unborn. And Mayor Carvalho, I wanted to say, I had no idea you were such an entertainer.
Oh, don't get me started. But today is all about Senator Inouye and his legacy. And he's done so much for all of our individual islands. And it's just a statewide recognition for who he was. Like I said earlier, he wasn't small, he wasn't big, he was just right. And he had a heart of gold, big heart, a lot of great things, and a lot of things living on, from children's activities to kupuna programs to cultural preservation to the military presence, all of it. And so his love and aloha for Hawaii will live on. And I'm sure Keiki will learn in her classroom one day of who Senator Inouye was and what he meant to Hawaii.
And we can't wait to see more tributes and celebrations on all of the islands. So thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much.
And let's get back to the celebration event.
Mahealani recently joined Shriners Hospital as the Director of Public Relations. And a note, Senator Inouye was at one time the honorary chair of the recent rebuilding of Shriners Hospital. So that's super cool. Mahalo Mahealani for your kokua and expertise today. And best wishes on your new job, T. Exciting. At this time, on behalf of Mayor Caldwell and the City and County of Honolulu, I'd like to recognize and say mahalo nui to the following individuals and organizations for their generosity and true aloha for helping to make today's event possible. Ho'okena and Nani for providing today's entertainment with their beautiful mele, leo, and hula. Mahalo Ho'okena. Mahalo Nani. April Ramos and Noli Hipolito of Arts and Science. You saw the banners. How cool is that? A local family. They're a local family-owned business in operations for about 2 years now. And when they found out of our event, they were so olu, so willing to share and give back to Senator. Mahalo again, Arts and Science. Omar the Tent Man and Dennis Young of Hawaii Tents and Events. When the owner of Hawaii Tents and Events found that we were going to have this event, right away, he volunteered. And he said it was his company that protected Senator from the elements when he laid to rest at the Capitol. This was their tent, so he felt so olu again. He wept, so mahalo to them. Omar the Tent Man and Dennis Young, Tents Hawaii. And last but not least, Zippy's Restaurant, represented here today by Jason Higa and Carol Matsunaga for providing the refreshments. And let's have a round of applause for our servers, Zippy servers. And now to conclude today's celebration, Mayor Caldwell and all Kanaka, the people of the City and County of Honolulu, would like to dedicate a tree that has been planted on the grounds here near the Honolulu Hale in honor of our dear Senator. And what better tree than a kukui tree? Not only because it's our state tree, but it was priceless resource to Hawaiian people. The kukui nut oil was used for practical applications such as making wood preserves, varnishes, and soaps for our skin. It's very medicinal also. Moisturize your irritations, and mostly my mom always used to tell me, kukui no a, turn on the light. The kukui nut was our light, and in turn, Senator will always be our light. So how fitting today that Mayor Caldwell said, Misty, let's plant a kukui nut tree. So we're going to do that. And if you're able, right now, let us all rise. For those of you who cannot and would wish to stay, Ho'okena will perform for you. But we will now have everybody rise and gather to the special kukui nut tree that we will dedicate to Senator Inouye. Aye.
Where is my love, Kamalani? Please answer me, Kamalani.
Before we begin our ho'okupu for our kukui nut tree for Senator Inouye, all mayors, Mayor Caldwell would like you to unveil our plaque first. All mayors. And may I read the plaque. This tree was planted in memory of Daniel Ken Inouye, 1924 to 2012, United States Senator, 1963 to 2012. A'ole poina ole ia oe. You are never forgotten. Dedicated September 7th, 2013. Mayor Kirk Caldwell and the people, all the Kanaka of the City and County of Honolulu. Mahalo. Jennifer and Mrs. Inouye, please come forward. And now we can give our ho'okupu. Just put it around. Just put it around. Yeah, put it around. This way.
And this is Kawa'i Maile, U'i Mauli. Whoever has ho'okupu now, please come forward.
Hawaii aloha.
Please join hands.
Recently, I spoke to Kenny Inoue, his son, and he came here just a few months ago and really opened up about his dad and what his relationship was with his granddaughter, 3-year-old Maggie. What a cute little girl, let me tell you. Well, Ken said that when he first met Maggie, he was a little tentative around her, and you have to imagine Senator Inoue, you don't really know what he's like at home, but he said that when he first met Maggie, he was a little tentative, not sure how to react to her, and Ken told me that he said, you know, Dad, you really have to play up to her, and maybe you can use music. And so many people don't know that Senator Inoue could play the piano with only one arm, and so he started to play the piano, and little 3-year-old Maggie's face just lit up, according to Ken, and from then on they had this amazing bond over music, and that was one of the special stories that Ken Inoue was able to tell me. He also told me that as a kid growing up, you know, his dad didn't really talk about politics at home. He actually just asked him, how was your day at school? How are things going on with your friends? They just had everyday normal conversations. And one special thing that they did together was actually go to a Kiss concert. That's right, they went to a Kiss concert, and it was wonderful that the senator was able to do something like that with his son. And they are now ending Hawaii Aloha, so let's go back to the tree planting ceremony.
Once again, mahalo everybody for coming today to celebrate the life of our dear Senator Daniel K. Inouye.
Kai manahila,